Let's go now to Timothy Less. He's the lead researcher at the Center for Geopolitics at Cambridge University. Good to have you on the show. The political climate in the region, in most cases, if not all, affects economic cooperation between the countries there. How is the Open Balkan initiative going to help grow the trade volume between these countries?
Well, that remains untested at the moment. But what you can say is that following the collapse of Yugoslavia and the imposition of state borders where there used to be a single market, that trade and commerce among states in the region has declined. And one of the rationales for trying to establish the Open Balkan project is to restore supply chains and commercial and trade linkages after 30 years in which they've been impeded by tariff barriers and administrative barriers.
Timothy, let's shift our gear and move on to politics. I mean, Albania, Macedonia, and Serbia are three EU candidate countries. If this free trade agreement becomes a reality, let me ask you, would this jeopardize their chance of being integrated into the European Union?
Well, I think the first thing to say, this is more than just a trade agreement. In its conception, Open Balkans aims to replicate the four freedoms of the EU's single market within the Balkans, that is trade in goods and services and capital, and also movement of people. As to whether this jeopardizes their EU membership, I think the jury is out on that one. There's one school of thought which argues that this initiative can actually prepare the region for membership by trying to adopt some of the reforms and practices which they would eventually have to take on if they joined the EU. But there is another school of thought, which is that establishing Open Balkan or some kind of regional economic entity solves the problem of the Balkans, at least from the point of view of the Europeans, and removes any pressure on the EU to integrate the region as a means of stabilizing it in the long term.
How do you integrate a region when half of your members are not in attendance? Serbia, Albania, North Macedonia are there. Kosovo, Montenegro, and Bosnia and Herzegovina are not.
When you say half the region is not in attendance, you're talking about the three states which are refusing to participate in this initiative, which is Montenegro and Bosnia and Kosovo. And I think for that reason that the chances of this initiative succeeding are limited because the rationale for it is to try and overcome some of the problems that were thrown up by the breakdown of Yugoslavia. That is, the economic problems related to the collapse of supply chains, but also the division of nations like the Serbs and the Albanians and the Croats into one or several states. And in the absence of the three countries which we just mentioned, Montenegro, Bosnia, and Kosovo, this project can't fulfill its core objectives. That's not to say that the three can't carry on. The three, that is Serbia, Albania, and North Macedonia, can't continue this as a trio, but the incentives are not so strong and the rewards are not so great.
Okay. Timothy Less, a pleasure having you on. I do appreciate your analysis. Thank you.